Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including a Voltron Legendary Defender, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Hayley Nabuurs.
Hello.
Andy Potter.
Hey.
And Steve Zeck.
Hi.
We are finishing Voltron Season 5 coverage on this podcast, this time discussing Bloodlines and White Lion, episodes 5 and 6 of Voltron. We've gone through all of Season 5. I say all, but it's 6 episodes, 2 at a time. This is our third Season 5 Voltron podcast. Find our previous ones at overlyanimated.com. Search for Overly Animated Voltron on iTunes. Subscribe there or on YouTube to not miss any of our future Voltron podcast, and future because season 6 is June 15th, so not that far away. But today we are concluding season 5 coverage, talking about episodes 5 and 6. Make sure you've seen all of season 5, spoilers for all of season 5 of Voltron Legendary Defender. But let's get into these episodes. Hayley, what did you think of Bloodlines and White Lion?
I liked them. I think they were very in keeping with this whole season in terms of being actually really interesting and really well written in terms of all the different storylines that are happening. They're all really well balanced in these episodes. So I thought that was pretty impressive. And the White Lion episode was nuts. And I was not expecting any of that to happen at all. But it was really cool. And and we have Keith is back, which is nice. And he's got a mom now who's awesome. But I was immediately like, oh, she's my new favorite character. And then it's like, oh, what? She's involved? I was not expecting that. But yeah, I think they were really good. I think it was nice too because I was afraid that Bloodlines, where it's at in the season, I was worried that was going to be like a filler episode where not much happens.
The Voltron show, if you will, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Dylan. You are so wrong about that episode. Voltron show is a great episode.
Are you saying it's not a filler type episode? That's all we were saying. That's all we were saying, Andy. Defensive already. Wow.
Yeah. Very offended. Yeah, but I was worried Bloodlines was going to be that. But it wasn't. We had some nice, a little bit of a break with the robot, which was actually, I found very entertaining. But we didn't just focus on that. So that was nice. But yeah, so overall, very happy with this season. I think it's definitely one of the best that we've had in a while.
Nice. Okay. Andy, tell us why you like Voltron show. No, JK, what did you think of Bloodlines and White Lion?
You don't want to start that, Dylan, because I'll do it. But I liked episode 5 a little more than episode 6. 6 seemed a little more... I guess there wasn't as much going on as other episodes this season. Episode 5 was really interesting, and it had a lot of running plots going at the same time, and it was impressive that it all kind of fit, and I understood what was going on the whole episode. And episode 6 was just... I honestly didn't really care about Orion. I just didn't. It was cool. There were some
How dare you not care about the location we didn't hear about until these 2 episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, man.
But I mean, there were some really pretty shots. I still don't understand where Lotor's ship is, and I thought that he'd take his ship to the...
That's a good point. What happened to the comet ship? Yeah.
I don't know. That ship just seemed to disappear this season.
Stashed on a moon or something.
And then also, I was really... We talked about this in Discord, but I was really sure that Lotor was going to get a Paladin Lion, but he didn't.
Because it's called White Lion. It's we have a black lion, we have a blue lion, new White Lion, 6th lion, wow. Yeah.
And then nothing happened with that.
Sad.
There were some interesting character beats for Lotor in these episodes, but it feels like nothing was resolved, and that makes sense because there's only 6 episodes, and I'm just kind of waiting for more now.
Yeah, it's almost like this wasn't really a season finale.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Who knew? Okay, Steve, what did you think of these 2?
Oh, I really like these 2 episodes. Bloodlines, that nice little surprise with we meet Keith's mom. Didn't care too much for the whole Lance, Pidge, Hunk, comic relief plot. I just thought that sort of dragged from the stuff I cared about because I was so interested in Keith's little mission and some other stuff going on. I'm like, whatever. And also, I don't think it made sense. Why you want to goof around on a Gala ship? We're trying to make peace with these people. Why are you trying to just maybe make them mad? As for episode 6, oh man, that was a really big episode. maybe a new ship is born with Lotor and Allura. I know you don't.
Oh no.
But I gotta admit though, I definitely Lotor. The more closer I see Allura and Lotor get, the more uncomfortable I get. The more I'm thinking, Lotor eventually he's gonna, maybe not on purpose, but he's gonna kind of betray us at some point because he's got a lot of his parents' blood in him. He got all his parents' blood in him, and remember, Minerva and even Zarkon in the beginning, they had good intentions in the beginning, and they got corrupted. So, what makes you think Lotor have any better luck? And it does feel like when I see Lotor and Allura, like their interactions in the episode, it just reminds me a little bit of Katara and Jet in episode 10 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm like, oh, please don't break Allura's heart, please.
Comparing Jatara to whatever their ship name is in this, Lotor and Allura. I think that captures my appropriate amount of disgust at the ship. Comparing it to Jatara.
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, I don't. When I say Lotor might betray us, I don't think he's trying to like betray us. He's tricking us or anything. I think in his heart, he thinks he's on their side. He thinks he's doing good. He wants to do good, but we've seen him before when things don't go his way, how he can be sometimes, and you never know. I do have this thing could happen though is with the Shiro thing. He do to Shiro what he did to that Nakadira. What's her name? Whatever.
What?
I have no idea.
Oh, Narti, the one he killed.
Yeah, he might try to kill clone
Cat
Shiro,
lady.
and that could cause a major wedge because he definitely he's kind of paranoid. We see a little bit paranoid and who can blame him because his mother's stopped spying on him all the time. Won't give him any space.
Yeah, need some room, Mom. Jeez.
Yeah,
And the Black Mirror episode, Dylan. This is actually a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah. So this is just Archangel, where Hagar is the mom. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Don't leave the guy alone here. And
yeah, okay, but you've some questions about Lotor's motivations and stuff. We'll get into that for sure. That's a big question to talk about after these episodes, as with all season. I think these were good episodes, Bloodlines and White Lion, but I was definitely let down coming off of Postmortem and Kralzera. These weren't exactly what I was looking for from the show. I think episodes 2, 3, and 4 were great, huge political character focused episodes that were super exciting. And then I think to a certain extent 5 and 6 are a little bit of a return to the base level of Voltron, where I wasn't super connecting to any storylines. The characterization was only surface level. And in general, I thought they're a big step down from 2, 3, and 4. So the season to me is 2, 3, and 4, incredible. 1, 5, and 6, we're okay. White Line was exciting. It was gorgeous. When you're this is the problem with splitting the season in two. When you get to the last episode of the dump that they did, you're expecting resolution to the things that we were talking about throughout the season, or at least a moment that was bigger than anything we had before. And White Lion only was visually climactic. It was the most gorgeous episode of the 6, but it featured less exciting events by far than either 3 or 4 or even the end of 2. And it didn't really resolve anything that we were talking about. So I think that episode just suffers because they decided to dump 6 episodes. That's clearly not a season finale.
It's not even. It doesn't even feel like a mid-season finale. It's really just doesn't feel like an ending to anything.
I warned you guys on the Discord before the season dump that this probably was going to happen. That think of it as either season 4 part 1 or even season 3 part 1 of 4.
Right. And we were talking about this in the first podcast. I actually think I was incorrect about something. Andy was saying that the first episode was written as a season premiere, I think, and I do think that's true. This is the first part of a 13. This is the first 6 of a 13. Okay. So I think the first episode they did conceive of as a season premiere, even if it's the midway through the 26, which it's not clear whether they think of it as 13 or 26. But the premiere was probably written somewhat as a premiere. This episode was definitely not written as a finale, given what they knew going. Yeah. So
even for the 26 episode season, normally the 13th episode you have a mid-season finale type of of epicness. So
yeah, that's right. Even if they think of it as 26, it's 13 would still be a mid-season finale. This is not 13 or 26. This is whatever. Yeah, this is 20. 19, 20, yeah. But we are approaching, season 6 is going to be very hype. We are approaching a true finale, so that's going to be very exciting. But yeah, I thought they were fine episodes. I don't know. I definitely wasn't crazy about, I didn't connect with anything in Bloodlines. You know, like there's no specific plotline that I really loved. I very much agree with Steve that the robot comic relief plotline did not work.
What, you didn't like Amazing Grace, Dylan?
No. It's Steve, you're right. You said they get onto the Galrin headquarters first time and this is how they react. Like we're having this historic alliance between the Paladins and the Galrin. In that episode, we just have the stupid B plot with our characters goofing off. Like that's what we're doing right now.
And they're pissing off the guards. So maybe in the end we kind of made up with them, but still,
I'm not concerned about the alliance. I'm just like the scope of the show is.
Yeah. Okay.
Go hack something.
Yeah, but Paige doesn't have anything better to do, really. Like,
well, I do think, in a way, it might pay off a bit in the 6th episode. Is when we see Lotar's generals talking, and at the end they said, "Let's throw rocks at the crew" or something. I guess maybe showing that the bad guys and good guys were kind of similar.
Okay, you see a parallel there. Interesting. Yeah. That was another weird scene.
But Dylan, they're definitely bringing this robot back. This is season 6's cattle necker. This is definitely.
Oh God.
The robot's going to be flying through space.
In my opinion, the creative team of the show does not have a good concept of what resonates as a fan gag. Like, I don't think Kaltenecker is funny at all. I know some people do, but it's so stupid. It's forced like fan service, right? Like it's like, oh, this is going to be a funny gag. Like it's to naturally catch on. Like,
at least there was no fart humor. Give it that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
One thing I did like though was we got more female Gara high rank officers.
Yes, that was true. Mm-hmm. We did get more. I
say this. I'm gonna say Gara. They might be racist. They might be specious or whatever we call it, but they're not sexist. So give them that.
Well, I didn't know that until this season. Like,
yeah, we had 0 of these until literally this season. Until
we literally were wondering if there were female Galrans.
Yeah,
and now there's like every officer is a female Galran. Also, I still don't get how Galran features work because every single one of them looks different.
Yeah, and it's not just like in like any species where there's like variation, but this is like they have completely different heads sometimes.
Yeah, I think I thought all Galrans were mouse people because of Sendak at first. Yeah, and it seems like he's the only one.
Yeah,
okay. Maybe it's like this is going like full biology evolutionary kind of stuff, but maybe it's like the original Galrans were purple and had yellow eyes and something else as their main features, and then because it's been however many millennia or whatever of them going around, there's like intermixing with other species, or
maybe there is no true pure blood Gara.
Yeah, at this point, it's
that would be that seems like commentary that they would do. It's like their sense of true blood is not actually real.
Well, they're just not explaining it.
Zarkon was the last one, I think, if that's true.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Anyway, let's Hayley, what stands out to you the most from these 2 episodes in terms of like a big thing that happened?
Keith's mom is awesome. Even though we didn't get a ton of her, but I'm excited to see more from her.
I can't wait
Shiro.
I can't wait for her to meet the crew.
Yeah, I just think she's going to be really cool. A cool character. Shiro is now, I guess, kind of admitting, or at least kind of aware that he's not all there anymore, which is exciting. And I think the whole White Lion episode, I feel like I agree with you. I didn't really like emotionally connect with what was going on because we were literally introduced to this plot line at the beginning of the episode. But visually wise, it was really amazing.
Yeah.
So I think that was cool. And I think it's going to lead to interesting things as well with, because I can't really tell if Lotor is upset that he got kicked out and is like hiding it, or if he's actually legitimately happy for Allura, because maybe they're in love. Like the romance was off the charts.
Oh no. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Let's get it out of the way now. Who's feeling the Lotor and Allura? Hayley, you said yes.
You know what? I'm just gonna go for it. Why not? Yeah.
So is it like an objective? Like I think the episode was presenting it, or are you feeling it like you're shipping it?
I was not shipping it before, but after this episode, I was like, I like them together. They seem cute together, and so I'll be the shipper for it. Why not?
Okay, Andy, same question.
I'm gonna take the safe bet and say the show just doesn't do romance, and this is just weird putting them together.
So you don't think the show is presenting it in that
No,
episode?
I don't think they're presenting any romance ever.
They were standing so close. So
They were.
Yeah. Steve.
Yeah, the more I see them together, the more uncomfortable I get. 'Cause I just really think eventually Lothar is going to stab her in the back eventually.
Right. Yeah,
But it
that's
might-
definitely
I
possible.
His
He
temper
loves
to get
him.
the better of him one of these days. Like,
Yeah.
we saw what he's done before when things didn't go completely his way. So he held it in this time, but you never know. Eventually, that ugly side might come out again.
Yeah. I think the show was presenting it in White Lion. I was not happy. And I hate this ship. I hate it. Oh, I don't know if I hate it more than, I guess I hate Keith Allura the most. And then Shiro Allura I also don't like, but this is up there. This is
Where's Allura?
Allura is much better than any of those three. I'll say that right now. It's okay. The Allura ship power rankings are, first of all, Pidge Allura is number one, obviously, but they're not doing that.
No.
The best Allura ship is Allura and Lance. I don't know why. It's just the most palatable. Second, Shiro and Allura. Like real Shiro though, not clone Shiro. That's fine.
At least the oldest of them. So
Yeah,
I think-
I get it. And then a big gap, and then Lotor and Allura, and then Keith and Allura. Those is the worst. So
See, I like it because they have said this too. They're both thousands of years old. So, like, they kind of make sense. And I think it would lead to interesting things in the storyline in the future.
one of the problems is that on the original show, I think Lotor was obsessed with Allura in a creepy stalker way.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's really creepy on the actual, like, the original show. So maybe they're, like, doing it a better way this time.
yeah,
That seems like an obvious thing not to bring back if it was terribly done then. Yeah.
Very true.
And didn't Keith like fight Lotor over Allura multiple times in that show?
ugh.
Yeah, I think so. In terms of ages, it's like it's hard to talk about because they both Aanged, or at least
exactly.
at least Allura is Aang in that she was she's biologically that like hundreds or thousands of years old, and she's or chronologically and biologically is like 17 or something, and then Lotor is not frozen though, right? As far as we know, he's just like several hundred years old, but he ages weirdly. So
I think he's several thousand years old.
yeah.
Like, they've been millennia.
Right. So, your mileage may vary on whether that squicks you out or not, but, I don't care even as much about the ages. I just feel like Lotor presents as a mid-20s guy and Allura presents as a teenager. So it like grows, doesn't do.
Oh, really? I totally read her as, like, 25.
Oh, interesting.
Completely.
Yeah, I'm with Haley.
Yeah, no, she is not a teenager to me at all.
Yeah.
She looks like an adult
I mean,
woman.
she's a, millennianarian. I don't know what you'd call that. Like, what do you call someone who's thousands of years old?
I'd be fine though if Lothar can just settle his mommy issues. He's got his mommy issues he needs to resolve right now.
That's the thing standing in the way of their relationship.
Yeah, Allura had her daddy issues early in the series, and she resolved them.
Oh God, no! Don't that actually sounds like something someone would write a fanfic of. But
no.
Okay, the big plot thing to come out of this, other than the fact that the show seems to be pairing the two of them for some reason, is that Allura achieves the secrets of the golden, she finds Atlantis, and she gets she gets the secrets, and she's now a full alchemist. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get what this means, because I assumed she had the powers before, but maybe not.
I think what it means is that she goes into the realm of the ancestors, and she asks for the knowledge to make Voltron in the same way that her dad did. So so in theory now she understands how Voltron works and could make adjustments to Voltron or could make a new Voltron. She's like that powerful now.
I have a question though. Does anybody really understand what Altean alchemy is?
Look, it's magic. That's what it
I
is.
don't get it. Like, they keep saying the word alchemy, and I'm like, do they understand what that word means?
Like, that is not alchemy. Maybe they mean it in terms of, like, changing quintessence into another thing.
I guess.
You know?
It means its own thing. Yeah, it could be that, but it's just Altean science, which is basically magic because it's so advanced. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all it is. So yeah, Allura is super powerful now. That'd be cool if we saw her doing something before the
Other
season
than just
ended,
on the
but
ship.
Yeah, she didn't do anything. She powered up the ship. Wow, huge move.
I feel like she could have
She's a
done
bat-
that before, and we wouldn't have
It's
questioned
just
it.
episode 6 of this 13-episode
Right,
season.
right.
Dylan.
That's I know. I understand, but this is a shot at Netflix. But yeah, it's Allura and Andy. Do you like the prospect of Allura being super powerful?
No, because like I was joking about, I think she's just like a quintessence battery now, and Lotor's just going to use her as a battery and get into that problematic stuff.
Oh, and I do think Lotor is probably a quintessence junkie.
Right, he's following in the footsteps.
Has he
potentially.
used quintessence on the show yet? Like used it on himself, like
Right.
Dark.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
He used the meteorite to make those
But he
wherever
didn't-
they are things. But yeah,
So,
I
okay,
don't know
let's
if he's
talk.
done
Let's talk
anything
about the political state of the world, as we seem to be getting it. So we're very much questioning what would be happening at the end of the last podcast, and the answer is that
Not much.
But yeah, it was very underwhelming considering we're like, wow, the whole world has shifted, and it's like this episode starts. It's like, yeah, things are chill. But basically, Lotor has formed an alliance between the Galrans and the Paladins. And most of the Galran Empire has fallen in line, but there's a lot of it that has not, and they're in revolt. So there you go.
Yeah.
It's basically
have,
what
like-
we were saying last time. It's that the Galrans are with the Paladins now. That's very weird. But Hagar is potentially our main force of bad at the moment.
We don't even have a clear face of the enemy because there's all these other rebel forces are against each other as well. It'd be easier if they could reunite, put their side of differences, and go after Lotar.
Oh, so you're trying to be the political strategist for the revolting sections of the.
I would do it if I would do if I was them.
Don't support the Galran revolt. They're the bad guys.
Okay, all right.
The biggest thing is
I just want interesting battles. I want the show to continue to have some interesting fights and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah, Andy.
I will see. The thing is, you can't vote against Lotor here because Dylan is one of his generals now.
Right, I've already pledged
Very
my
true.
allegiance to Lotor, and that was a great move. He's in full power right now.
He went to Atlantis.
Yeah. Oh, I guess he doesn't get. Yeah, that's true. He suffers a defeat. He doesn't get magic powers. With like.
But now his
Allura
girlfriend
does.
has them, so it'll
Oh
work out.
god! Oh god! Why? Well, does this show going to go through every infuriating pair the token female up with every single male on the
think
show
they
before
might.
it does any sort of gay relationship?
Yeah.
Like, does she have to go through we have to go through hinting of every single infuriating straight ship before we get any inklings of any sort of non-het ship, right?
Mhm.
That's how it works.
Probably.
Yeah,
Oh
that's how
my
it
God.
works.
I guess we have to suffer through.
You gotta
Well,
suffer
I'm-
for day.
it's been for the next Laura Hagar fight, saying, it's being the mother and the girlfriend, who's good enough for my son.
You say that, but you're not far off from what the show is going to
might
be
actually
presenting
happen.
us. That's the sad part. I want to be
Actually,
like Steve. This is
Actually,
dumb,
what I
but-
seriously want to see, though, is to somehow parallel Keith and Corellia and Lotar and Hagar, and do something with those four characters in terms of how one, Keith and his mom, they kind of just reunited. They have a good relationship, while Lotar and Hagar's relationship is completely broken.
Yeah, I do think that's a potential parallel that that these two episodes were presenting. We have two notable moms of our characters.
And I do think it's pretty clear. I think Lotar, in the back of his mind, he knows Hagar's his mom. He just refuses to admit it.
Right. So update on the Hagar Lotor situation. Episode 5 talks about that with Allura, and they're saying Allura's like, what if Hagar ends?
Oh my God.
And what's her name again?
Anerva.
Anerva.
How'd she make that jump?
What if they're the same person? And Lotor's like, nah, yeah.
I think it's more of I think he knows, but he
Yeah.
refuses to admit it.
The show is presenting
a
it, yeah.
metaphor of my mom died when she became Hadgar.
Right.
But-
it could be neither.
But I agree with Hayley. How did Allura make that jump? It was 10,000 years ago.
I guess they were in the room. They saw all of her notes. It's like, how did she get these notes? How did she know? How did she have all of Anerva's stuff? How is she so good at this kind of work? I
Well,
feel
she's
like
I guess.
Well, she's much smarter than Akko, at least. You wouldn't
Yeah,
figure
okay.
that out. Akko would be like,
Anyone-
oh my god,
anyone's
Minerva
smart
is
enough.
Hagar's twin sister.
Yeah. The Pad Paracha is that was what Allura was right here. But and it seems like Lotor knows but doesn't want to accept it. That Hagar is. Yeah, she's like, that witch was not my mother. And trying to make me hate Lotor using witch so much. I feel like characters calling Hagar witch is, very, in my mind, very easily is like a stand-in for calling her that word with a B, and is like sexist use of language.
Isn't Zarkon called her that? Like,
well, yeah, Zarkon's not the shining pinnacle of.
Okay.
I guess she is literal witch, but also she's not. That's not a real thing. They're just, it's not like there's a class of witches in space. So
they call her a high priestess all the time.
Yeah, I feel like that's her official title. Yeah, which is like the derogatory term. We're jumping around here, but. Let's talk all the Hagar stuff in the episode, which connects to the Shiro stuff, which is, we see once again Hagar is spying through Shiro. And did she do anything in the first episode? No, she's not there.
No.
But then the second episode, the lieutenants are bored, and they say Hagar's formulating her next move. And then at the end, Hagar's spying, and she says, I know where we're going now. It's the place I've been searching for my whole life.
Well, I think the bigger thing you kind of glossed over there, Dylan, was one of the generals that's with Hagar now said no one's taking out Lotor. That implies that their goals is not to take over the Galran Empire, which is interesting.
I think that they have been told nothing by Hagar.
You think they've been told nothing?
Yes.
Well, why I see it though, I think Asgard definitely still has like some emotional connection to Lotar and doesn't want to kill him or nothing. And the other two, I don't know, might be a little indifferent, and Hagar has her own little goals, and we're not really sure what that is yet. So I don't think I'm
still frustrated that the three generals haven't shown anything in relation to Lotor. It's like maybe we'd address that at some point. How do they feel about Lotor?
Well, I do think though, if you go back to the last season finale, that Axar did not want to turn on Lotor. I guess he had no choice. Everyone else was voting in favor of we gotta cut bait with Lotor.
Yeah, it seems like she's the most connected to him. I agree. It's hard to talk about any of them because they've had so little at doing anything. I think that whichever of them was saying that, I think they're referring to the people that were revolting against Lotor. It's just like, no one's taken him out. Yeah, let's go or whatever. I don't know. I think we can't read too much in that, but, Hagar wants to go to, what's this place called? Atlantis. Yeah, whatever. She wants to go to Atlantis, and will Hagar be able to pass by the Lion Guardian and also achieve the Allura's magic space powers?
Good question.
Probably yes, right?
I think that'd be interesting.
Well, maybe she's maybe a little smarter than Lotor in terms of controlling her little temper and not trying to, and realizing what the Guardian Lion wants.
Yeah, seems like the only reason Lotor failed was because he attacked the thing and did not just accept death like it wanted him to.
I wonder if that's more like showing a message of male-female stereotypes of the male are more aggressive and stuff, while females are more passive.
Yeah, though Lotor's toxic masculinity came back to bite him.
One against that though is one of Lotar's generals is like female, and she is like the most most aggressive.
We've certainly seen a super aggressive females on the show, yeah. But it's so Hagar going on a mission to get potential magic space powers. That would, in theory, enable her to achieve the the realm between the dimensions or whatever, where the quintessence lies, the quintessence field or the Voltron field, or so. That's like what she wasn't able to fully get when she was in Nerva and when she was working on that. So this might enable her to get there. But in theory, Allura could get there right now. I don't really know how that works. Maybe just because she doesn't have all the research on it, she can't. That's the problem. This is all just very theoretical.
She has all the knowledge, so maybe she can.
Does she have all the knowledge, or does she just have the knowledge of what she asked?
I don't know. Well, didn't she just ask, like, tell me everything my dad knew, basically?
Yeah, so that's kind of a lot.
That's everything.
Yeah.
I guess though her dad didn't know how to get into that field specifically because that was what Nerva was working on, and her dad was around for that. He just knew how to make Voltron or whatever, so he knows advanced alchemy. Maybe super quintessence is different from the quintessence field's different from that. Yeah, I don't know. This is one of the frustrations. It's all very vague right now. So hoping for some more details to come. But yeah, so we know Hagar is. It seems like doesn't have political motivations. Now that she's tapped into her memories, she maybe wants to finish off the research she did as Enerva.
Mm-hmm.
But
Probably, yeah.
where does that leave us though on villains though? If all she wants to do is just study stuff, what is going on with like conflict here?
Well, study and use in a malicious way eventually, I guess. So we still have to stop.
I guess.
But yeah, true is there's no real villain. I think I feel like Hagar has not been presented as a straight up villainous force.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see. Let's talk Lotor because that's the other potential villain. The big question, as the question has been all season, is are we trusting Lotor? Because in Bloodlines, he welcomes the Paladins into the Galran headquarters. He seems very, he seems very sincere with his desire to have an alliance with them. He says, once again, he states that his goal is to achieve unlimited quintessence and achieve peace through giving everyone unlimited source of energy. Very utopian type of vision, just unlimited energy to everyone. Everyone has no reason to fight anymore. And he's been consistent with his message. He's been nice to everyone. He kind of forces them to go through the white hole and to go to the white lion and stuff. You could see some sketchy stuff there. Maybe the most sketchy thing is his aggression against the white lion when he was on his own.
Yeah.
What's your current read on Lotor, Andy?
I don't buy it for a second. I don't buy him for a second. I think that he is definitely doing something malicious. Something is going to go wrong here because he wants unlimited quintessence, and theoretically that could be really cool. Like, it could be fusion, everyone gets energy, but quintessence also is like this super weapon, and I'm concerned what Lotor would do with a super weapon. And it wouldn't be good. Like, he could just destroy the rest of the Galran Empire that aren't under him. I don't know what part of the problem is I don't know what his end goal is. I just don't think it aligns with what the Paladins think it is. I think these two episodes kind of set him up to be the big bad of the entire show.
In what, how do you see it going?
I think that what's going to happen is they're going to help him get what he wants, whatever that is at the end, like whatever it actually is that he wants, whether it's just unlimited quintessence or a new evil Voltron. Once he gets that, he's going to do a heel turn, and then in some way, and they're not going to agree with him, and he's going to turn into the big bad. But I don't know how far off we are from that. It could be in a couple seasons. It could be at the end of the next one. I'm not sure.
I think there's two. I think we've seen enough from Lotor these episodes to take most of what he's saying at face value to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
But even with that, I think there's two potential areas where, what he's presented should trip red flags, and it's like not to Allura at least and Shiro.
Yeah.
I think number one is, his kind of ends justify the means approach. Like, he's pretty driven in achieving this unlimited quintessence, and he doesn't care that it's putting them in danger when he's going to let's go to the white hole, we need to drive on even though it could kill us. They're like, no, let's just go back, this is a stupid idea. And he's like, no, we're going for this. And he's pretty consistently done that. He doesn't seem to care that much about the Paladins' lives. Like, the relatives, like, they're allies, so like he would defend them, but it's incredibly unimportant compared to his ultimate goal of unlimited quintessence.
Well, I mean, he did kill Narti just because she didn't help him. Like, he'd probably do that to Paladins.
He was a spy. He thought he was a spy, which does put Shiro in danger because he's doing the same thing.
That's true, yeah.
So that's an interesting parallel there, yeah.
Number two is that his ultimate goal is unlimited quintessence, which is the same thing his mom and dad were looking for, which is the thing that corrupted them and turned them into supervillains. So if he does achieve unlimited quintessence, there seems like there's a high probability that it would corrupt him as well.
I think though Lotor right now is face value that he does not see himself betraying the Paladins. He sees their goals, like everything going to work out. He's not plotting right now how he's going to betray them. But I do think eventually either his temper probably get the better of him, or we'll find out his goals, his methods are not in line with the Paladins. So I don't think he's devious plotting behind their backs. I just think, like I said, he probably has too much of his parents' blood in him. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We've seen this story before.
We all might have hesitation on where he's ultimately going to end up, but do any of us think that he's scheming against them actively at the moment and is going behind his back?
I trust him there. The thing Lothar is, I don't think Lothar can trust himself.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
No, I'm just saying like I said like maybe his temper get the better of him, or
yeah, you said he's too much of his parents' blood
or something. Yeah. I'm just saying Lothar might just lose. Like, I think he wants to do good, but he might lose himself later on to the darkness. And
yes, he might get corrupted in the process, like his parents. Yeah. I that's potential outcome. Jeff, who's been on the previous podcast, not on here, but on our Discord, brought up the point that Lothar in public always seems very composed and agreeable, but the one time we've seen him in private was against the White Lion, and he was very aggressive and kind of seething, and maybe that's what he has internally, is about a built-up anger and rage.
I think that's true.
And I guess you can't really blame him considering his backstory, the way his dad treated him before, so I can understand that. And who knows, we haven't never seen a flashback of Lothar when he was really, really young. Maybe he was a much more gentle, kinder person back in those days.
Right. I mean, he tells us a story in the White Lion about how he was sent to like subjugate a planet by his dad. He like worked with them and it was great. And then at the end, Zarkon told him to kill it, and when he didn't, Zarkon blew it up himself. So like, yeah, definitely a lot of issues from throughout his life.
I wonder about somebody. I kind of wonder if what's the name of the head Lothar general of her age, if she knew Lothar long ago when maybe he was a kinder, nicer person.
Yeah, it's possible. I think you have a lot of exit theories in the show, is like shown her for 5 seconds, but this season, but yeah.
I think the main issue is that Lothar hasn't really changed. He's always been a very pragmatic character whenever we've seen him, and he just does the thing that gets him the most value. But he believes he can get a lot of value out of people being alive around him. It's not that he cares about people. It's that he honestly believes that having a planet full of people who follow him is a lot more value to him than just a blown up planet or a planet of slaves. And that's just not caring. He is not necessarily a good person. He just sees the value in having an empire of loyal people.
So I think the ultimate question here is, do we think when push comes to shove, he will use Allura to his and harm her to his ends now that she has these powers, or would he stand up and say, I'm not hurting Allura?
No, he would definitely do the first. He will 100% do the efficient thing before the moral thing every single time.
And he'll rationalize it too.
Yes,
he
will.
Thinking,
even with the
good.
Connection they've made, the potential romantic connection, he still would try to drain Allura like a quintessence battery rather than working side by side with her.
I think that matches his character so far. I don't think that anything we've seen disagrees with that.
And he would justify it that the ends of the many outweighs the needs of the few.
Go ahead, Steve.
Oh yeah, what was I saying? I think the way you break it down, I think Zarkon, he's like Ozai, and Lothar is like a core villain, like Iman or Kavir or Zahir or someone like that, who's just
a little more nuanced rather than just a straight issue. But that being said, Lothar not actively working for evil right now. I agree that push comes to shove, he'd betray Allura. I think that's probably where we're going, given the continued connection we're building up between them. I'll still side with him though. I don't care. He's
I don't think he's lying about anything that he's saying.
I think that's the big shift. I think that was kind of one of the coolest things this season, is that they didn't just go in a direction with Lothar.
So sneaky.
He's not just it's deeper, it's more complicated than that. And I think that's been a really cool way to go with this character.
Well, I do think though, like I said on the Discord when the season was starting, and I'm 1/3 of the way there, that the whole family, Zarkon, Hagar, and Lothar, will be dead by the end of the series, and I'm thinking...
Yeah, Zarkon's dead. We can't kill Hagar and Lothar because they are two of the interesting people.
I'm talking about the end of the series.
Yes, do whatever in the series finale, but this is... they've been done really great with Hagar and Lothar characterization-wise.
I hope they really do go this direction, though, with Lothar, where he does betray Allura, just because it's interesting, because I honestly think the empire he creates is a place that I would prefer to live in. it feels like he would make a really great place to live in with a lot of things sacrificed to get there.
So you are advocating for utopia, Andy. So you are advocating for
Sort of.
potential dystopian future.
I'm kind of on the Lotor train. Like, sure, the Paladins might die, but his empire seems pretty sweet.
Okay, fully buying into the Lotor motivations.
Lotor might
come to the side.
He might get along great with the other universe's Alteans.
Right, they also have alternate dimensions.
Oh God, I forgot that was a thing. I don't want that to ever happen again.
Let's give our brief update on Shiro, which is that he tells Lance in the White Lion that he does not feel like himself. Further confirming, I think what we talked about last podcast, Shiro is not acting mischievously.
Yeah.
If there's something up with him, which there does seem to be, he's unaware of it.
I wonder if when he realizes that he is like maybe a spy for Hagar, he might do something drastic. He might maybe, kill himself or something.
Right. That's
and he's just a clone though, so it's not like she's the real Shiro.
Well, okay, let's talk. What is up? Couldn't this just be real Shiro and Hagar spying through him?
It's possible that, like, because he died, quote unquote, real Shiro disappeared when he was in the Black Line, so he disappeared into like Quintessence or something. Hagar controls Quintessence. Maybe she just pulled him out of the weird lion space and she reprogrammed him.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing to say that this isn't real Shiro is the thing in episode 3 with Shiro calling out to him in the void.
Yeah. It's weird too that a lot of the like kind of clues that he's not who he is how he's overreacting to things and really like snapping at everyone. And it seems like that is always relating to helping and supporting Lotor.
Yes.
Which is interesting because maybe that is Hagar, she's like, it's her son. She's trying to support him.
And
him and Lotor are best buddies. Now that's a ship. Now that's a ship. Shiro and Lotor.
And then on top of that, whenever Lotor goes anywhere, Shiro is right behind him. He walks in lockstep with him everywhere he goes.
It's like Hagar's bodyguard for
I think that's because Hagar is tracking Lotor.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that would indicate Hagar is controlling Shiro's movements to a certain extent. She's just interested in Lotor. That's why she's doing that.
And I think that also shows that as soon as Lotor leaves, as soon as Lotor's nowhere near Shiro and Shiro can't reach him, Shiro starts thinking different things. Shiro starts realizing, hey, I have been acting weird. And I think
that's true. Yeah, it was only when he was off the ship that he started wondering, like, oh, something feels odd.
And then as soon as Lotor came back, Shiro was right there with Lotor again, every chance he could get.
So do we think that ultimately Hagar could push a button and control this Shiro?
I don't think so. I think Shiro has just been programmed to help Lotor, and I don't think she has more control than that.
It just when Lotor.
So what do you ultimately think he is? Do you think it's like mental, like psychological conditioning, and that he's a clone, or do you think he's like an AI?
I think he's like a clone or something. If you played BioShock, like that has a lot of similar things where like she programmed ways that he would react to things when they come up. And like if you see Lotor, you help him. You push forward for whatever he pushes forward. But she has no more control than that. She doesn't like have a button that says kill the Shiro or tell Shiro to kill people.
But the one little hole here is that until recently, when this Shiro first started appearing in season 3, Hagar did not know she was Lotar's mom. She didn't have her memories back yet, so why?
So why would she set it up that way, right?
Yeah.
Well, back then Lotor was a risk to
true.
Sarkon's empire, at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still
so she had different motives back then, but she still now she's doing it for a different reason.
Yeah, that could be, and she's just utilizing from before she remembered. Disappointing to not get straight answers for the second quote-unquote season in a row with Shiro, but probably season 6, Shiro answers.
Well, we had way more progress in it this season than we've had ever, so that was
I'm just glad it was acknowledged. That's all I really care about. Like, I remember saying, like, oh, it's happening, and someone in this Discord spoilers chat was like, no, it's not happening. It doesn't happen this season. I'm like, no, but we acknowleded it.
Right, yeah. Season 4, it was just not talked about. This season,
like, is something going on? It's like, probably, but we don't know.
I just felt paranoid and insane in season 4. Like,
yeah, same.
Is it not happening? Because it feels like it's happening.
No. The best way to go in season 6 would just not address this again. It's like, JK. No, this was
that could actually happen though.
It could happen.
Oh, don't even put that out into the universe.
I think the ultimate question is like, what's gonna happen to our Shiro when real Shiro's found out? Like, is our Shiro just going back to dead and not gonna be around, or will we find some a Deus Ex way to put our Shiro back into the clone Shiro and have like nothing's changed? Real Shiro's alive again.
I
So,
hope not. I really
Maybe
don't.
Allura's
I
new
don't-
alchemy powers figure
Oh
it
yeah,
out.
she'll just necromancy him back, right? Like she
Yeah,
can do
or
anything
she
now.
can tell something's up.
Well, I do
I think-
think eventually, though, Keith's gonna have to fulfill his destiny and be the Black Lion Paladin. So
Yeah.
eventually, we gotta get him out of the way in terms of being able to use the Black Lion. So
Yeah, let's
Do
talk.
it.
Let's talk Keith and Crowlea in
Yeah.
this episode. Hayley, what did you think of Crowley in this episode?
I love Crowlea so much. I like when we had at the beginning, just like, oh yeah, she's infiltrated the ship and she's our contact and everything. And we saw her from a distance. I was like, oh, neat, cool, whatever. I thought she'd be like a one-off character. But then we actually saw her, and I love her design. She's really interestingly drawn. And then we meet her, and she's super cool. And like, she's Keith's mom, which is whatever. That's neat. I like Keith. He's fine. He's good. But
Yeah.
I mostly like that she's his mom because it means that she's not going away, which
Yeah.
is really nice.
Well,
yeah.
don't say that because she could totally not appear for like.
It's very
20
true.
episodes.
Yeah. Keith was in like 2 episodes this whole season for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love her. I really want more from her. And she was just so cool and like in control of the situation and everything. And yeah, I'm a big fan. I really want her to come back.
I want her to meet the rest of the Paladins. I especially want to see Lance's like reaction. I wonder maybe he'll say something like, "Yeah, Keith, your mom's kind of cute" or something.
I did have a brief moment. where I
We're
was
past
like,
that with Lance.
shipped, like, oh, she could be shipped with someone for like
Yeah.
a brief second, and then it was like, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
she looks a lot younger than she
looks
must
so
be,
much
right?
younger.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
completely.
well, let's put it this way: Lotor lived for 10,000 years. I have no idea how any of the Galrans
like
age anymore.
22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy, Crowlea, thoughts?
I really liked Crowlea. I think she, I don't know if I saw enough to be like, yeah, she's the best ever, but she was definitely cool. I do like having a female Galran being kind of important, because clearly the generals are supposed to be important, but they're doing nothing, so let's have this one, I guess. I think it was kind of sudden that we found Keith's mom out of nowhere, so I hope that's a little more explained in future episodes and seasons. But I do really like the fight scene she was involved in this episode as well, with Keith versus all the sentries. I liked how they kind of worked together there. It was a really interesting fight. It wasn't like over the top or anything, but it was cool.
I find it interesting though how, like in the beginning episode, the Monora is scolding Keith for saying emotion is just like a luxury we can't afford, and then in this episode, Corellia, she does exactly what Keith did in the last episode. She acts more of emotion than the mission, because she wants to protect her son instead of the mission comes first.
Yeah. She's really cool. I don't care as much about her being Keith's mom than I do with her just seeming like a cool character. But
I do have to wonder though. Maybe I do want to start about Keith's dad met her. Was she on the Galran Empire side, and Keith's dad is what got her to change her philosophy in life, or was she always against the Empire?
yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Yep. Good. That could be a feature episode backstory. Keith's parents' backstory episode. Yeah.
Earth doesn't seem to have a clue what's happening in the universe, so maybe it didn't matter.
Oh, yeah. Sam left to go back to the garrison in the beginning of the episode.
Like, update
I don't
them.
understand. Like, if they could just teleport to Earth, why don't they go to Earth all the time? I don't get it. Like, if they could just teleport wherever, it just doesn't make sense.
Oh, we know Lance's siblings' names: Marco, Luis, and Veronica.
Yeah.
And we also
That's
know
what we all really need to know.
Here's the real question: is Lance the brother of Marco Diaz from Star Wars?
Oh.
Yes.
That's my
Yes, clearly. No, Dylan. This is Marco, like, Jr., or, like, he's, like, the great-grandson of Marco Diaz.
Oh, okay, I like that.
Oh,
Okay.
they do look kind
Lance
of
is
similar.
Lance is a Starco descendant. Yeah,
So
Yeah,
there you go.
exactly. It makes sense.
What I got remember it was clear was apparently Lance has no father. You mentioned
Right,
everyone.
he doesn't mention father. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Midlands misses his family. He also misses Jenny Shabon or the other Jenny, or that's what they're teasing him about. I don't know.
That's what Hunk,
Yeah.
Hunk
Yeah.
mentioned to Jenny.
Oh yeah, let's
And
talk
then he
about Hunk.
started crying.
Is Hunk the worst character in animation?
Yes. He did literally nothing this season. I
Nothing
think that's
at all.
true.
He had some sweet
boy.
moments with Pidge, but like
Yeah, he single
aside from that-
modulated one time, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
They are terrible with Hunk. Oh my.
Well,
goodness.
still though, it's better than whole. I don't know what was Hunk doing nothing or Pidge being a one-note character about my family, and
that Pidge is better. That's
Well,
she's on screen. So
we'll be
least
ready
something's
for next
happening.
season when we go look for Pidge's grandfather. So
no, stop.
Oh,
Stop
no.
with that
Like,
joke.
at the
No.
very least, Pidge is fun to watch. Hunk, it's just like, can you do anything? Please.
Yeah.
He just never does. I don't think he made a food joke this season, though, so baby steps.
No, they're playing with the food packets.
Oh,
this-
God, right. Never
It's
mind.
interesting though because I feel like this is kind of a side effect of the shift that's happening in the show, where we're way more plot focused and like storyline focused, whereas before we had way more filler comedic episodes, and Hunk hasn't really made that transition all the way. You know, like some of the other characters actually have things going on in their lives, whereas Hunk is still just like along for the ride, being the comic relief.
I think we need Shay in the show to at least give him some more interest.
Yeah, he just has something to do.
But I think the problem is that Lance kind of fills up that comic relief slot, and he's
Mhm.
also the second in command, so he just has so much more time,
Exactly.
like on screen. It just doesn't. Hunk just doesn't fit into this equation at all.
No, he doesn't have anything to do. Well, he helps with tech, which is interesting. I like that of his character, but that hasn't really been that important a thing this season either.
And Pidge is just better than him at it.
Exactly, yeah. Everyone's just a little bit better at what Hunk is good at, which is unfortunate. Poor guy.
Like Hunk's
Hunk.
best moment is still in the episode where they practice being Voltron. He's like, and he screams like, "I'm a leg!" Like that's like still his best
Yeah.
moment. That was like episode 1.
That sums up his entire character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my reaction to Hunk. Is that okay? Rip Hunk. Might as well be off the
Dead,
show.
might as well.
Yeah.
He just like
okay.
appears every so often.
Yeah. Let's wrap up here. Give me your anything else you wanted to talk about and your final thoughts on the season as a whole, Hayley.
I don't have anything else to talk about. I think we covered it all. Yeah, I think this season, half season, quarter season, whatever we are calling it, was really good, and I'm very happy with the show at this point, because episode 1, I was just like, oh no, it's a premiere episode, nothing really is happening. But then we like dove headfirst into all the drama. And yeah, it made me very excited to watch the show. Like, I was eager to watch these episodes after watching the other 2, which is normally a good sign. And yeah, and I'm happy that things are actually happening plot-wise, storyline-wise, and Zarkon is probably dead, which is nice because he was just a nothing character at this point. And we're actually getting time with characters that we're excited about. And I'm also really happy that there's way more female characters in the show, like in actual positions of power and having speaking roles, because that was something that was severely lacking in the first couple seasons. So that's a very good thing that was starting to happen last season, but really this season they like kicked it in overdrive, which I appreciate. So yeah, overall, I'm excited by the season and for what is to come.
Yeah, definitely true about the female characters. And nice, good stuff. Andy, final thoughts on the season?
My final thoughts here are that I really think they need to work a little harder at pushing all the characters into this plot-driven mode, because not all of them really fit into it, like we were talking about with Hunk. Lance is kind of halfway there. I felt like there was a lot going on with Lance this season, and we just kind of glossed over it, because he's really filled out this role of the second in command, but he only ever really feels like that every third episode, like every second or so episode. It was really weird. I do like that Lotor continues to be really good, really the most interesting part of the show, but I'm also really hesitant about there not being a big villain. So this season was interesting. I had a lot of fun with the episodes, but I'm just not sure where the show is going. And that could be a good thing, that I don't know where it's going, that they can go a lot of different directions, but I'm just not really sure what we're going to get next at the moment.
Yes, exciting to see what will come in season 6. Steve, final thoughts.
Well, I went into this with What's like realistic expectations? Because I saw this really as season 4, part 1, so I knew like I didn't expect a big epic finale or anything. So I knew what to expect. That's a nice surprise. So seeing Keith's mom was a nice surprise. It kind of ruined my funny little skit idea of Keith being like so dense that his mom was an alien growing up. But I definitely agree, guys. I'm glad Zarkon's kind of gone, and hopefully have more interesting villains. I do feel the show right now with no like clear villain. It's at the same point where Star is right now, that we're waiting for someone to step in as the big bad. We just don't know who yet. I do hope maybe Hunk gets some of his character back. Gets to at least do something interesting, and no more Pidge relatives, please. And
you're the only one wishing that upon the world. So.
Just a joke. And also do something with Lotar's generals, especially
Axa.
Axa, but she's the only one to actually give any like a personality or anything. The other ones, especially, are really one note. I mean, you think Pidge or Hunk are one note? Those characters are really one note.
Ty Lee really had nothing to do this season.
The Ty Lee general did the Asami move. She like did the thigh thing that all the women in the Marvel universe do.
What are you talking about?
When she was fighting Shiro, she did the move that Asami did with the motorcyclist. With the legs, she like wrapped the legs around.
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah, she totally did.
And so sadly, when you think about the other one, the big one, she's done more this season than Hunk has.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, for sure.
In that one scene, her talking basically.
Oh yeah, I do also like to see maybe Akshia have this moment like when she has to choose, like Keith and Lotar have this like fight, and like a weapon goes near her, and she has to like choose like go with my heart or go with my head. Because
again, that would require her being a character.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Hopefully that is to come. Yeah. There's a lot of interesting potential.
And maybe she and Allura can maybe have a little like post-mortem Lotar like talk after Lotar betrays. Allura and like been there, sister.
Hopefully not, because Lotar is perfect and great and will not betray anyone. There you go.
And also Dylan's boss. But
yeah.
Dylan told me to say that.
There's no betrayal here if he doesn't mean to betray anybody. They're just not helping him.
Yeah, I agree. It's not his fault if Allura does not volunteer herself as sacrifice.
Her soul.
He doesn't want to sacrifice lives for the cause. It's Allura's fault, right?
It's not his fault that Zarkon was emperor and he had to kill him.
He didn't kill his dad. It's kind of notable,
he kind of had it coming.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this season showed what Voltron is capable of in the middle at its best, but ultimately was mostly just par for the new course, although it was the new course of seasons 3 to 5, which is much better than we got from seasons 1 to 2. In terms of an update on my constant proclamation that the show has no heart and it's not that fun, I think it still is that. So that's unfortunate. I think the main thing that would make the show a lot better is if it was a lot more fun, basically. But yeah, I thought episodes 2 to 4, especially 3 and 4, were really phenomenal. So there's lots to look forward to. Season 6 of Voltron on June 15th, not that far away, although solid 3 months, considering they probably have the episodes done. So I don't know.
Honestly, what is going to be if they do like 6 episodes every 3 months? It's just a normal season spread out over a year, separated by 3 months each.
It's going to be 7 next time, so.
It'll be 7 hopefully, and we don't like this really small. So
and when Netflix splits episodes like 13 episodes a season to 7 and 6, it's inconsistent over which comes first. Sometimes they start with 7 and then 6, and sometimes they start with 6 and then 7.
Yes.
So
it's I believe they work with Lauren and Joaquin to figure out which would make most sense to start and end on. But yeah, it wasn't like we knew about this heading into the writing. Maybe for the next batch of 13 or the one after that, we'll know about the 6 and 7, so they'll write it in. But yeah, but by then Netflix will change strategies again. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know what you thought of Bloodlines, White Lion, and all of our thoughts of season 6. Leave comments at overlyanimated.com. Click on the article there, or leave a comment on YouTube. Thanks for those who listened through all of our season 6 coverage. Thanks to everyone who was on Voltron season 6 coverage. Hayley, Andy, Steve, Delaney, Jeff. Was anyone else?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, there you go. So thumbs up. Thanks everyone. You got it in a weekend. I don't know what people prefer, if we get them out really fast like this or spread it out more. But yeah, it's a great season of Voltron. Looking forward to June. Come talk with us about the show, as always, on our Discord, overlyanimated.com/Discord. And consider supporting us via Patreon, patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all of our patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Sam, aka Yosemite Sam. And thanks as always to our patron executive producers, John, Ryan, Steve, Alex, Andy, and Hugh. Check out our other stuff at overlyanimated.com. Star vs. Force Evil is weekly now. Final Space, weekly or semi-weekly. And all that other, we'll see when Mr. Cons is back. Everything at overlyanimated.com. Rebels finale coming up. Series finale. It's a big, big thing happening. So probably a big overlap with Voltron and Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, thanks, guys. Let us know what you thought of this. And we will see you in June for season 6. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.